touch on former executive director of the NFL Players Association, DeMaurice Smith. Back on, I believe, September 5th, he was on the Breakfast Club, and they asked him about the business goings on of the NFL. DeMaurice Smith essentially summarized the way that the NFL operates, how it's like it's designated as like a non-profit or something like this. But we're going to get right into it. But he was asked by Charlemagne straight up if the NFL has a soul. And DeMaurice Smith's answer is no, the NFL does not have a soul, but the players do. So we'll go ahead and get into this. I don't think I'm going to play the whole clip because it's like kind of long. It's like 4 minutes or so. Yeah. But it is, some of the stuff that he said, although probably not surprising to a lot of folks, is still pretty interesting to hear. So here's DeMaurice Smith talking about, the way the NFL handles business.
They don't have a soul.
The NFL does not have a soul. Exactly. The players have a soul.
Okay.
Right. And the NFL is the largest, most unregulated, socialistic business in America.
Break that down.
The NFL privatizes their wealth and socializes their cost. Right. So you think about stadiums, for example. Every state and local government goes through a referendum to get taxpayers to pay for the owner's stadium. We pay for it. Mm-hmm. He keeps the profit. Mm-hmm. So what they do better than anybody else in the country, there are no 10Ks. There are no 10Qs. There's no annual report. There's no public board of directors. There's no SEC control. There's no attorney general control. There's no state attorney general control. They are a completely unregulated business. Up to a few years ago, the NFL league office was a 501c6 nonprofit. They're going to do $25 billion next year.
How can a corporation like that be a nonprofit?
Not a corporation.
How? But I'm saying, how can they not be a corporation?
Got time? Break down a little history? Please. All right. So first thing that happens in 1960s, they have the AFL, American Football League, and the NFL. Those two entities merge, right? So think about it like Lowe's and Home Depot, right? If Lowe's and Home Depot merged, what would be the price of a hammer? $500, right? Because there's no competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the 1960s, that's exactly what the NFL did. They became the merger of Lowe's and Home Depot. So they merged. The only way they could merge was they needed special legislation from Congress, which they got. So think about it. The taxpayers, who these dudes are supposed to work for, allowed the NFL and the AFL to merge, which basically meant they eliminated all of the competition from now until the end of time. First thing that happened. Second, under the Sports Broadcasting Act, they also have the unique ability of negotiating singular television contracts. So instead of the Rams doing a TV contract or the Patriots or anybody else, the NFL does one big TV contract a year. Virtually nobody else can do that. So they've cornered the market on the merger, cornered the market on media. At the end of the day, all of the teams are not corporations. They are LLCs and LLPs, limited liability partnerships. So, my job is to audit the teams, which, gave me an ulcer and, got me addicted to Johnny Walker Blue. But you think of those corporations, you take something like the Dallas Cowboys. There is no one singular Dallas Cowboy entity. They're made up of dozens of little LLPs and LLCs. They loan money to each other. They borrow from each other. They pay each other. So the way this thing works from a tax liability standpoint is that they do everything right. You know what they pay in taxes at the end of the year?
Damn near nothing. Yeah.
So they're not a corporation.
That's crazy.
They don't file anything publicly. Make it even crazier. You cannot find an audited financial statement for any NFL team or the NFL as it exists. They do not create audited financial statements because they don't want anyone to know.
So when they put those numbers out and they say, hey, we made this amount this year, that's just something they're throwing out there.
There's just something they're throwing out there. Wow. And look, I like magazines like Fortune that do the valuations of teams. That's not based on any audited financial statement.
Yeah,
I mean, the
What do they
only
base
people
it
who
on?
audit them is the NFL Players Association, and we can't
That's
talk
crazy.
about how much
they
money.
make.
All right, so ended up playing the whole thing anyway because I kind of felt like it was all needed for context. Sounds like business as usual to me, man. But what do you make about DeMaurice Smith and everything that he put out there about the NFL's business operation?
I didn't know those things, but I'm with you that it sounds like business as usual. But I didn't know that was their business model. I didn't know it was operating around as a nonprofit. I was well aware that the taxpayers do have to pay for these stadiums. Hell, they do that in baseball and basketball too.
Yeah.
I don't know how many disputes went on down in Miami for the Marlins to have that stadium. I mean, it was so much going on about that.
That no one goes to.
Yeah, but it's crazy. But it was you're gonna lose the team. You're gonna lose the team. So Miami bent the knee, and they still paying for it. So yeah, man. So I took this as that all leagues do that, but I didn't know that I'll speak for the NFL at least. I didn't know it was operating as a nonprofit. I also didn't know the part where, like, for instance, the Dallas Cowboys and that's all other teams are broken up in these LLCs and LLPs, where they're just doing all of these money tricks. So they're playing this money game so they don't have to pay any taxes. They don't have to pay for any stadiums. They're just collecting money hand over fist. And it's outrageous. They don't have to report any of their money to anyone. Yeah, it's outrageous, man. But this ties into what I was also saying before, whenever we do bring up the NFL, when it's regarding how their ethics are concerned, of its origins and what it's really here for. That it's a game that's being played for betting, and it's live action WWE, and they've created this business model and they've created this infrastructure that pretty much makes them impenetrable. Nobody can audit them. Nobody can do this. Nobody can do that. So long as they're not getting in trouble, they can do whatever the hell they want, which also makes the NFL investigating themselves for collusions and other things laughable at this point. The NFL is going to do what they do. It is a monopoly of sorts. Because the XFL, I don't know if what is it, the UFL or whatever that's called.
USFL.
USFL.
Yeah.
That's out there operating, basically just glorified minor league teams for the NFL. Those leagues aren't really competing with the NFL. You really can't. And this also lends to those conversations where Ice Cube was talking about when he's trying to get his league started, but there's important people out there that's baller blocking on his little Big Three league because it's jeopardizing their monopoly in their eyes. So all in all, whenever we do have these conversations of, hey, if you don't like it, go build your own. When there's these entities out here that are already operating the way that they are with such impunity and moving like mobsters, you could probably see why some people, whenever these leagues do get started, they end up faltering or they really can't compete or X, Y, or Z. Maybe there's something bigger at play that these leagues are not playing fair and not playing by the same rules that you would have to by creating your little LLC or whatever it is and creating a league the old-fashioned way. They're playing a money game that many people don't know about. So much so it gave our boy here, Mr. Smith, ulcers. So yeah, so they're playing highly advanced money games in order to get away with this. So all in all, yeah, I'm with you, man. Business as usual for the NFL, but it's interesting to know what kind of games they're playing behind closed doors. But what are your thoughts, man, on what DeMaurice Smith had to say about the NFL and how they move around money and how they operate as a business? What are your thoughts, man?
Not surprised. I actually had to look this up to make sure that I wasn't saying something incorrect. I know that in Major League Baseball, teams can negotiate their own individual TV deals. Like the Yankees, for example, they have the Yes Network or whatnot. I had to make sure that I looked it up to see if the NBA does the same. I thought that they did, but I just wanted to double check, and it is true. So, like NBA teams can negotiate their own individual TV deals. It kind of looks like the NFL is the only league that restricts that. So, the NFL definitely has created a pressure chamber for itself where, it funnels all the money through to the appropriate channels, and it can get away with it because it's too big to fail. The thing with the NFL is that it, again, like at the top of that video that we just played, the thing about it is there's no competition. And when there's no competition, there's no recourse for doing things like that, where the teams have all of these different mechanisms in place to basically pay itself so that it doesn't have to pay anybody else or pay any outside entity. So I assume like the Dallas Cowboys probably has like an executive aspect, like the executive portion of the Cowboys probably has its own LLC, separate from the concessions, separate from grounds and sanitation, and you're just moving money around within your own company, and at the end of the day you're just paying yourself, which is just gangster as far as I'm concerned.
It's mafioso, bro.
It really is. And I'm not surprised, because I mean the NFL has been able to get to the point in which it currently is constituted in large part because of a lack of competition. When there's no competition to bounce what you're doing off of, there's limited need for oversight. And so, as you said, you can operate with impunity. But I kind of feel like this is why corporations at large look to do stuff like this. You get these huge mergers, like, when Disney's running around buying Fox and Marvel and Lucasfilm, and they already had ABC and ESPN. Like, when you own all of this and you're becoming a bigger conglomerate, it's weird. Regulatory means to kind of maintain some sort of an oversight on what you're doing becomes less of a priority, because who are you going to take the money away from to give it to when you own everything?
Right.
So it's one of those situations where this is capitalism at its finest. And so it is what it is, man. I think people can just take solace in figuring out ways to make money off of the model, whether that's gambling or less people can play in the sport. But if you can if you can figure out how to gamble off of it and make money, more power to you. Just get your little chunk of change from it, because trust me, the train ain't gonna stop.
So what do you say to the conversation that we have of, well, go build your own,
Right.
when these corporations or non-corporation, these non-profits is moving like it's moving like this, man? What are your thoughts on that?
I still think it's possible, but it takes enough people who are willing to not suckle at the teat of the NFL. Like, there are so many people who are getting really, really rich off of the league that they might have some misgivings about the way it operates, but they're still benefiting because of how much they're being paid, that they're willing to go along to get along. And I feel like what it's going to take is some of those individuals to divest and put their resources elsewhere. But at the same time, I feel like the reason why it doesn't happen is because people pay lip service to injustices. They really don't care if they're benefiting off of that. So there are so many people who bitch about the Rooney Rule, for example, lack of black coaches and executives, even though, if I'm going to be reasonable to the conversation, I feel like the NFL does make a concerted effort to give more opportunities to executives and coaches who are black, but still, there's of course a huge disparity. But as much as people complain about it, you still got people who are making money and are willing to go along with it. It makes you look noble to complain about it, but at the end of the day, you're still gaining a benefit. So if you're not going to go anywhere, this is what I said last week. Just shut up and get with the program. But if you are going to complain about it because you do see it as an inherent problem, there's enough people who can get together, divest from the league to create something that's sustainable. There's just not a big enough coalition doing it. So when you have that going on, yeah, it allows the NFL to continue to run roughshod. But can it be done? I still believe it can. But when people are getting paid, when people are getting their bag filled, what can you do?
Yeah, I think it's going to take a large, very highly organized effort in order to execute this. I don't think this is something as simple as filing for paperwork to get a new league and buying new jerseys, and like this is going to that it is a mass effort, because as you can see, you know, the NFL, for instance, it moves like a mafia operation.
They're gangster.
Like definitely RICO worthy.
that's why I always call it a cabal.
Yeah.
I mean that in the truest sense of that word. That's what I call all professional sports, but the NFL in particular.
Yeah, and which explains their stranglehold on the game.
Yeah.
So hey man, but I'm with you, man. I still think that people need to get off these things if they do feel as though they're being mistreated, underpaid, X, Y, or Z, not represented enough, blasey splees, we're not allowed in the ownership. Okay, well, go own your own thing. But as you mentioned, don't just pay lip service to it. You got to be about that life. Because one thing about it, those owners and their families are about that life. You see what that Ursay guy, after he passed away, he got his daughter out there looking like she runs something. She's running that damn plantation. She got a headset.
That is right. Yeah, that's right. He groomed her properly. That's right.
She said, I want to know the plays too.
Damn right. Yeah,
hey, man, that's crazy. So you see, they ain't giving it up, dog.
No,
they gonna sell this to a Negro,
bro. I've already said, man, one investment that a person can make if they have the resources to do it, and you know that it's a guaranteed appreciable asset, is a professional sports franchise.
Yeah,
that's why they don't come up for sale for a reason.
Yeah,
they don't. What did the Lakers just sell for? $10 billion?
Jesus.
Out of control, bro. And the valuation of these things is only going up. So it's the only guarantee. It's one of the very few guaranteed appreciable investments that you can make.
I gotta find out a way to move some money around, bro, and buy a team, dog. You know what I'm saying? Be a minority owner or something, dog. I gotta
get my 0.01%. Yeah, let me get that point. Let me get that 0.01% up out you. For real.
Hey, well, shout out to everybody out there, man. That's out there in the league, man. But yeah, man. Hopefully, somebody one day, I'm not making tens of millions of dollars a year or hundreds of millions, or not what these guys is doing. But hopefully, one of these days, somebody does try to create something that is a little bit more diverse. But in the meantime, you can see why the NFL remains king.
Yes,
and as you mentioned, too big to fail.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, the Lakers sold for $10 billion. $10 billion.
Jeez.
So the Buss family made a guap off of that. I think Jerry Buss originally bought that team for like $250 million. Because now I'm curious. Let's see. Oh my God. Jerry Buss paid $67.5 million for the Lakers in 1979. $67.9 million, right? $67.5 million, and they just sold that team for $10 billion. Unbelievable, bro. And that's the NBA, where in certain respects the NBA is hemorrhaging money.
Mm-hmm.
Subsidizing that women's league of theirs. So
that means Jeannie Buss ain't gonna be on the sidelines like that no more. We don't care about what she do.
So she's still going to have some sort of involvement, but no, that whole family is being paid out. So they're done. They're out of there.
I'm tired of that.
Jeannie is going to have some kind of ancillary involvement, but the Buss family, in totality, they're riding off into the sunset, and I don't blame them. $10 billion divided up between them siblings. Can you imagine that? Your family is rich until the world blows up. Until a comet comes and blows this whole thing up, your entire bloodline is never going to have to work a day in its life.
It's crazy.
Ever.
Crazy.
So, yeah. Hey, shouts out to the NFL, man. Y'all shiesty, but I can't blame what you did, man. That's y'all too big to fail into perpetuity.
Crazy.
All right, y'all. We out of here. JV wins Dogon SS. Shouts out to another fantastic edition of the Conscious Approach podcast in the books on YouTube. Once again, check us out on TikTok at Con Approach, CONAPPROACH, as well as on Instagram, same thing. Check me out on Instagram at JVWins, JVWINS. Download us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify. If you want to listen to it in the car, or if you're at the gym, got the headphones in, we want to be available in any and all places possible. Thanks to everybody who's been subscribing to the channel. Go ahead and hit that like button, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the commentary in this or any other video. Let us know where you think we went right or wrong with any of our topics. We are a penny for your thoughts, and we will respond as long as they are constructive. And until next time, guys, as I always like to say, don't be a group thinker. Have a mind of yourself. Have a mind of your own. Think for yourself. And until next time, shouts out to my Seminoles, baby. 2-0.
Yeah. Hey, the name is Dogon SS, and you can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS, on YouTube, DraftKings, MySpace, Facebook, Meta. Hell, man, if there's a social media platform out there, Dogon_SS is also out there. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow, and all that good jazz. And as I say every week, ladies and gentlemen, we greatly appreciate you guys for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, or doing all the above. We greatly appreciate you all. And without you all's participation, all right, that's either watching the video or doing what I just mentioned, we wouldn't be here crushing it every week. So thank you all for everything that you all do. Without you guys, there are no us. All right. And as I also say every week, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it chill, keep it player. And don't let anybody get you off your pivot. So until the next episode, ladies and gentlemen, I've got more rings than Robert Ory. And the Canes are 3-0. Skr. Yeah. I'll let.
Yeah, we out. We'll see y'all next time. Fellas, please, I beg of you, put the OnlyFans down.
Lord, hey, I beg of you, sir. put down the Jergens. Hey, shout out to Terrence Crawford too, man. Out there whooping feet, man.
That's right. Hey, put it down, guys. Go touch some grass. Go to a bar. Go to a lounge. Go to a comedy show. Yeah, go to a beach. Just touch a woman. It's just so much better in person.
With her permission.
With permission, yes. Yeah. Don't do it unsolicited. Make sure that you have permission, but put the OnlyFans down. You guys are killing yourselves, man.
Jesus Christ.
But we'll see you next time. We out. Peace.
Yeah, man. Nowadays, bro, they live in a basement. You tell them to touch a woman.